What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here with some pretty intriguing and important news and rumors and some updates on the injury front for you guys to get to on today's show. So here's what we got on tap for today. The Browns, they made a signing. Reportedly, we're going to go through that. A familiar face too, local legend, Greedy Williams. His time on IR is done. He is returning, so that's great to see. We will run through that and talk about who's going to get the CB3 job, Greedy Williams or Martin Emerson. Plus, most importantly of all, Garrett and Clowney. We have some updates on them as the Browns are beginning to practice for Week 5 against the Chargers. So we will relay the latest from Berea. Plus, should the Browns sign/claim Andy Isabella, another local legend in the Cleveland area? Well, he hit the streets yesterday. Cardinals moved on from the former second-round pick. So we'll run through that, and I'll give you my take on it. But let's start things off sort of in chronological order of how today has unfolded, as Aaron Wilson, who kind of covers the Houston Texans, and his job is just to get the scraps of like no-namer NFL people, and if they make any moves, he relays it to us. So Texans tight end Pharaoh Brown, who was released, is expected to be signing with the Cleveland Browns. And, of course, if you remember, he had a short stint with the Browns back in 2019. Now, Brown has started all 3 games he has been eligible for or active for so far for the Texans this season. His career stats look like this: 46 receptions, 433 yards, and 2 touchdowns. We're not talking about a signing here that's going to compete with Njoku or even Harrison Bryant for top of this depth chart here at the tight end position. He's going to be with Miller Forrestall and that tight end 3/4, just Andrew Berry seeing someone out on the streets that he believes could come in and compete and make this roster a little bit better. Plus, with Jesse James going on IR a few weeks ago, an opportunity to just kind of tighten up that tight end room, which I think has been very fine. Njoku, the last 2 games, 14 grabs. That's the most for him in any 2-game stretch of his career. He is definitely looking like a top 5 highest paid tight end. And it's always fun when you can bring a local guy back to Cleveland from Lyndhurst, Ohio, so not too far from Cleveland at all. And had one season with the Browns. You might remember in 2019, he has been with the Houston Texans for the last little bit. In fact, he overlapped with Deshaun Watson for a little bit, and not too much to the story other than that. Will be interesting to maybe see if he ends up actually making much of an impact on this team, because the Browns have not utilized a tight end 3 all that much. But then again, what team really does go to tight end 3 for many targets? Now, whenever breaking news happens or just your average Joe signing, we break it down here for you on the channel, which is why you have to subscribe if you are not already, because there is no other Cleveland Browns YouTube channel that's going to keep you up to date on the latest news and rumors like we do here at Chat Sports. All right, let's switch gears. Let's move on to the Greedy Williams segment of today's episode. So, Williams is eligible to return after missing the first 4 weeks of the season on IR with that hamstring injury. Was placed onto it before Week 1, and kind of a surprising, I would say move, but injury, because that just popped up in practice, and that was a big enough injury to make the decision to shut him down for a month. Now he is expected to return to practice today. Just because he's coming off IR doesn't mean he's going to be necessarily 100%. The Browns might want to work him up to speed a little bit here and not just toss him into the fire. Nevertheless, he is going to be competing for his old job with the rookie, Martin Emerson, who I think through 4 games has been good, right? He's looked like a rookie. He has made some mistakes. He's also made some good plays, all right? 14 tackles, 1 pass breakup. He has not been a dominant rookie corner. I think he has looked sort of what we all expected he would look like. Now, in terms of his coverage stats here, he's been targeted 22 times, has allowed 12 completions, 121 yards, and 1 touchdown. Meanwhile, Greedy Williams, who has not played this year, we go to his stats last season, where he played his best season yet. 41 tackles, 10 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble. Listen, Greedy is entering the last year of his rookie contract. The Browns, with the pick of Martin Emerson, I think kind of put the nail in the coffin of re-signing Greedy Williams. So the way I look at it is play Greedy Williams for two reasons, right? If you think he's the better player, then absolutely play him. But the added bonus is if he puts up some good numbers this season and he walks in free agency, that's going to get you a better comp pick back. Plus, if he does put up great numbers and he's like, you know what, Cleveland ride or die, I'll take less money to stay with the Browns, boom, you've got enough talent at corner to last you a lifetime. Well, at least last you for a couple of years. But pick a starter for me, right? Who should be that outside corner opposite of Denzel Ward? Put the number for Greedy Williams or Martin Emerson. Personally, I've gone back and forth on this. I think ultimately Stefanski, when healthy, is going to go back to Greedy Williams, right? I think he's going to give Greedy his job back. But keep in mind, the competition between Greedy Williams and Martin Emerson is going to be alive and well. So I think Stefanski ultimately gives Williams his job back when he feels Greedy is 100%, because it's not like Martin Emerson has been some train wreck and you got to get him off the field as soon as possible. No, but this is going to be something that I think continues for a lot of the season, where if Greedy starts to maybe dip down a little bit, Stefanski will be comfortable with going to the rookie Martin Emerson. So we'll see how it plays out, but let me know who you guys are thinking of starting this upcoming week. All right, coming up next on the show, we're going to get to the Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney updates. As they may be close to returning for the Browns, we will tell you all what's going on at practice today. But first, our proud sportsbook partner, BetUS, is back for another season. We're almost a quarter of the way through the season. That is very, very sad. I hate that. So if you are looking for a spot to bet on the Brownies or just bet on the NFL in general, I told you last week my big money line underdog was the New York Jets. They did indeed beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. F Pitt. I'll come up with my picks later on in this week, but whatever picks you have, make your picks at chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Browns125. That will unlock a 125% deposit bonus. So if you're looking to put a little cheddar down on some of these games on Sunday, make sure all of your picks are made at BetUS by going to chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Browns125. All right, let's get to the injury front now. It's just kind of reading through the tea leaves at the moment here. Zach Jackson from The Athletic tweeting out earlier today, Clowney left the locker room quickly, but he was dressed like he took part in the morning walkthrough, which is positive news, right? I mean, that's not bad news. So if it's not bad news, it's got to be good news, we feel like. Then we get a more technical update from Jake Trotter saying Jadeveon Clowney ankle is not expected to practice today, but Myles Garrett is. So some good and some bad right there. I thought it would be the reverse a little bit, where Clowney might be sooner to returning than Myles Garrett, because following the ruling of Garrett not playing on Sunday against the Falcons, the next sort of news leak out of Cleveland was he might not be ready for the next 2 to 4 weeks, actually, which scared me to my core. But this is great. Myles Garrett limited in practice. Seems to me like they are just trying to get his legs underneath him and figure out where his body is, because this is not something football trainers are used to, I wouldn't say healing, but working with, right? They are used to hamstring injuries and stuff like that. Not, hey, how is your overall body feeling after a totaled car accident? So very scary stuff, but still happy to see Garrett working his way back. As for Clowney, I'm optimistic that he might be ready to go by Sunday, all right? If you might remember, before Week 4 kicked off, Kevin Stefanski said Jadeveon Clowney is close to returning. And I think just my football mind is, if you're close one week, you got to be ready by the next week, right? I mean, just naturally, you think football players a week, that's a ton of time. They've got to be ready to go. Fortunately, ankles aren't the quickest things to heal, so we're going to have to wait and see if he's ready to go by Week 5. But as for Garrett and Clowney, the upcoming schedule, if they are not ready to go against the Chargers, Patriots are not a very scary team right now. I'm not in the mindset of rest them for the Patriots because the Patriots aren't good. We just saw the Patriots go to Lambeau and go to overtime with Green Bay. So if you're ready to play, you play, right? That's how the NFL works, in my opinion. Unless it's Week 18 and you're clinched in the playoffs. But if it's not going to be possible for a Chargers or Patriots game, Ravens or Bengals. Those are going to be two big competitions that the Browns will need all the firepower they can get back. All right, let's show Jadeveon Clowney some love. You guys showed up and showed out last week for Myles Garrett. That letter, by the way, if you subscribed and type 95, stay updated on that on my Twitter. I'll tell you more about that at the end of the video. But spam 90, this brings me back to April when we were all waiting for Clowney to re-sign with the Browns. And I think we are partially responsible because 90 was put in the comment section no short of 90,000 times. So I think an ounce of us got Clowney back to Cleveland. All right, moving on here. This next part of the video might be dated depending on when you're watching it because yesterday the Cardinals released a former second-round pick in wide receiver Andy Isabella, a local legend, of course, right, from Mayfield, Ohio, went to UMass, and now there are some connections of could the Browns be interested in Isabella? Really is insert name of a wide receiver, are the Browns interested? Because that's how bleak it's been outside of Amari Cooper and DPJ this season. Now, here's what Brad Stainbrook tweeted out today. Multiple teams have expressed interest in free agent wide receiver Andy Isabella. Wouldn't be surprised to see him claimed later today. If not claimed, he'll be picked up quickly. And he's absolutely right. There are 32 teams. One of those 32 will be interested in bringing on a former second-round pick, at least to their practice squad, and if he looks good, they'll elevate him in like 2 weeks to the active roster. Now, Isabella, by all regards, has been a bust of a second-round pick for the Cardinals. 33 grabs in 39 games, 447 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So why are we talking about him, right? Because this wide receiver room for the Browns has been underwhelming outside of Amari Cooper and DPJ. David Bell, we had some David Bell sightings in Week 4 against the Falcons. Had 2 nice long grabs. Anthony Schwartz, we spent so much time arguing and debating over this guy, only for him to have 2 targets in 4 weeks. So he might as well not be on this roster because he hasn't made an impact whatsoever this season. Now, let me throw this question to you. Should the Browns sign or claim Andy Isabella? Here's my take on it. Let's say you do. Becomes wide receiver 4. Is he going to do anything? Probably not. Right? I know it's fun because the Browns wide receiver room needs an upgrade, and so that's a second-round pick, and that's a guy from the Cleveland area. Could be a nice fit for him. Awesome. Bring him on, and he'll have the same amount of targets Anthony Schwartz has had. Right? We can go in circles debating whether or not they should do it, and then they'll do it, just like how we debated should the Browns keep or cut Anthony Schwartz. Ended up keeping him, and he hasn't done much anyway. So if you want to cut him, fine. You want to cut Schwartz, whatever. I don't think the wide receiver 4 on this team is going to really move the needle all that much. But hey, it's the NFL. We're going to always talk about free agents out there and see if they can be a nice fit for for whatever team you are. For this case, the Browns. All right, before we sign out and get on out of here, stay tuned for a letter update. I'll be keeping you guys informed on our Get Well letter to Myles Garrett. So subscribers and Type 90 fires only. But signing off, seeing you guys later with more Browns news and rumors.